$5 they get, and I get the best actors in the city. Because everyone wants to do what these guys are talking about. Everyone wants to get together and work those muscles and read a great script and get together for 3 hours on a Monday, and Monday night we read it. And people come and they drink and they watch Fran Guinan, who's one of the most famous actors in Chicago, Steppenwolf Ensemble member, come and do a reading with Route 66. And that's how, for 9 years, I call it the Smoke and Mirrors Theater Company. That's how for 9 years, when I'm not producing, it looks like I'm producing every month. And every month I give something for someone to come and see.
And then are you, sorry,
Yeah.
but what do you charge?
It's free.
Free,
It's free.
right?
Yeah,
Great.
we'll gladly take your $5. That'll cover
Right, some
the bar
donation,
tab, or
right.
we won't cover our bar tab, but it'll get close. But like we do suggested donation. But
But it builds
always
the
be
audience,
producing,
and it
always
builds-
be,
yeah.
doing something for yourselves and with your friends. And here's the reason why I don't just get Fran Guinan because he's a name, I get him because he's my favorite actor to watch. And I want to see that guy read this play. And so you can go out and you can work with the best people, and they will do it for $25. They will come and read plays because we all have that same need to continue to flex those muscles even when we're not in a show.
When you took the show to New York, how did that pay for it? Did it pay for itself?
No, we had to raise the money as well. It was a little less expensive because it was a 3-week run, but for a 3-week off-Broadway run, that show was $48,000. So again, more money you got to produce. And how did that show start? Every show that I've ever produced, ever, started with a reading.
Cool.
Because I am an artistic director. I'm an actor. And I don't trust myself to read a play and know if it's good. So I get the best actors and I read it and I have an audience come in and they go, the readings that I do where they're like, you have to do this play. You have to produce this play. Then I go, all right, I guess I'm onto something. No Wake was one of those plays that started with a reading in 2011 or whatever it was, where people are like, oh my God, it's so good, you have to do it. And now here we are. I've done 3 productions of it and we took it off Broadway. But it all started with a reading. Read plays, read them out loud, read them with your friends, with wine, where no one can see you. Read them where people come and see you. Make work for yourself, for sure.
The weird thing is it's a really fun way to get better at cold reading.
Yes! Yeah.
Honestly, right? It's a really fun way to just get,
And it continues on throughout. When you leave here, people ask me to do readings for them all the time, just as a favor. Will you come and do a reading for? Sometimes it's for a big network that's thinking about buying a script and they want to see a reading first, so they'll do a reading, or someone wants to do a play. So you kind of participate in that way, and you guys can start that here. You can ask the directing majors if they have a script, if they need help. Can we be part of, start a reading series?
Yep.
And start building your own ensemble, so to speak.
Walking over here, I was saying Steph and I are very kindred spirits because I ran Riverside Shakespeare in New York for 9 years. And that first year, we had no money. The first production cost $900. The second show cost about $1,000. And it was crazy. We were stealing platforms and everything. But every Sunday, we didn't drink beer and wine, but every Sunday morning, we read a Shakespeare play for 52 plays in the year. And every single, and my now wife, then business partner, we would just bring them coffee and donuts, and we would read, famous people who went on to fame, read Hamlet and all that kind of stuff, sitting around in the living room. It was so much fun. We gave a little program, so it was like, and we still have those programs to this day. But it was exercising your muscles and your mental, and it was so cool. And cold reading cold Shakespeare, it's just amazing. So do it.
Yeah.
Who's heard of the law of attraction? This is the
good.
law of attraction. How do you get permission to work? I mentioned this in the morning workshop. How do you get permission to work when no one's hiring you to work? You do stuff like this. You start working yourself. You start creating work, and that
builds momentum.
builds momentum, builds security, builds your skill set, builds your tribe, builds all of these things that you're going to want to. You have it here. It's all built in here. It's such a beautiful container and space that you have here. Then when you go out there and it kind of feels like you're on your own, then wherever you land, New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, wherever, then how do you build it? And you can do it, and it's free, right? You can do it. You can start it yourself and start hiving your Tribe, it's called.
And it doesn't just have to be plays.
Yeah.
It can be movies. I mean, one of the most successful things that we do at Route 66 is we have a concert series. Because I have a ton of friends that do musicals, and we don't always do musicals because they're expensive. But Mike Mahler, who's a composer, who I told some of you is one of the co-lyricists right now for Miss Saigon. He's a big deal. But when I met Mike, he wasn't a big deal yet. But now every year, I still call Mike, and I'm like, hey, let's do a concert. And we pick an album, and he and his musician friends will get together, and I'll grab all the best musical theater people in town, and they will all come for free and do a concert that we sell out every year. And we've done Sgt. Pepper's, we've done The Joshua Tree, we've done Bridge Over Troubled Water. We're doing British Invasion at the end of November in Chicago, where he just, you know, I mean, these are all creative ways, and it doesn't just have to be acting, but like, you know, you can tap your musician friends too and collaborate with them in different ways. So.
Drea, in the previous class, I don't know if you would, I didn't cut you off, but
Yeah.
I want you to recount that story again. It's so astonishing what happened on this stage and what
Yeah.
where you took that
Oh, yeah.
one
Oh.
ODS that you developed here. Because I think only the freshmen heard that, so let's do that for the rest of the
Sure,
gang,
sure,
because
sure.
it's so amazing.
And then I also want to tell the story about creating your own content, which is very popular right now. And I teach a class in creating your own content. And we bring in people from places like Full Screen and Awesomeness TV and all these other platforms that are in the market to buy original content, and how the kind of the modern actor in LA is actually expected to be more than just an actor.
Mhm.
There's very, 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 very few people that make a living just acting. Very few. There are some, but all of us have had multiple careers,
The
and
triple
we've all,
threat thing has changed to
yeah,
actor,
Mhm.
writer, producer.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of actor, singer, dancer.
Wait, I'm geeking out really quick. I saw her one-person show on the stage. It was incredible. And it ended with, was it Tears for Fears song? What was the song?
Women in Change.
Yes. Oh my God. It was- I can still picture it. It was so good.
Oh, you're kind.
No, it was great. I still remember it. I knew Tears for
Thank
Fears.
you.
I mean, that was a long time ago, and I still remember the last moment of the play. It was beautiful.
So tell us the story.
Okay, so it was our senior thesis. We had to write it. It wasn't an option, but I had spent 4 years. So I remember Tim's one-person show. I remember watching, and to me it was like science. It was like, oh, these are all the elements that the show needs to have. These are all the elements it doesn't need to have. Like, I just watched what worked and what didn't work, and then I wrote from the heart what I was really into at the time. And what I was really into were kind of feminist issues of how women were treated, and about sexism in the workplace. That was what I was, and I was also fascinated by why some people identified as female, why some identified as male, what feminine power was, what male power was. Like, this was the theme of what I was interested in, so that's what I wrote about. And it was about a female police officer who meets a prostitute and who really learns from this kind of mysterious prostitute. Learns about what it means to be truly like feminine, like her female essence. She learns from, right? Would you say that's correct?
That's a great elevator
So
pitch.
I did the show here, and how it was taught to us was that we would have this in our back pocket to take with us. That was like the original intent. And I took that very seriously, so when I went to New York, I produced it. So I produced it a few times in New York. Friends and family would come see it, and then I moved out to LA. I had more friends and family out in LA, and so in the theater about this size, I produced it, and friends brought friends. So now the kind of tribe was working friends in LA. And someone from HBO saw it. Oh no, yeah, someone from HBO saw it, and they invited me to do it at their workspace. I did it at their workspace, and then I got invited to go to the Aspen Comedy Festival, where I did it there, which was like really exciting, and it was, I think it was televised, I'm not sure. And from there, I did a play from that show, someone saw that show and asked me to do a play in LA. And from that LA show, it was called D-Girl, that's how I got Suddenly Susan. after I did the play at the Aspen Comedy Festival, HBO wanted to develop it into a TV series. And this is when HBO, it was their first year they were doing original programming, they had Sopranos on, they were doing Sex and the City, so it was like right at the beginning. And so it went to development, and they hired a writer, and we developed it, and then it just it didn't happen. But that's the story that you wanted me to tell, was
It's
how
amazing.
kind of
It started here, right
and
on
it
this.
started, and it started right here, and I really was just doing it, and used it as my currency. Like, what could I be current at? I could be current at doing my one-woman show, like, that's something I had when nobody was asking me to audition, or to be on their show, or anything like that. I could do my one-woman show, and it got, it evolved each and every time I did it, and I was scared shitless each and every time that I did it. I just was remembering I was sitting back there going like, oh my God, what am I doing before every show? Oh my God, what have I done? I'm doing this again. Dun, da, da, and I walk out on stage. But